Listen, Sean, I think he's having a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
He's performative in those moments, and he's having a laugh with it. Now, some of the stuff, yeah, sure, it's really offensive. But if that offends you, just ignore it, right? It's not going to hurt you. That's Sean Strickland. You know what he's going to say. He's out there. He's got a microphone in his hand. He's leaning into the character. He's causing controversy on purpose. He's getting people to talk about him, also getting people to talk about the fight as well. Some people love it. Some people absolutely detest it. And if you're so offended by that, then Jesus Christ, relax, bro. Relax. There's a lot of people. There's 9 billion people on this planet. Not everyone is going to agree with what you say, and his words don't matter. If you don't like him, who gives a fuck?
But is Paramount going to shut down? Because I've never seen UFC turn off somebody's mic. They're saying they turned off his mic. Maybe it was just a glitch, but from what I understand, they shut off his mic. Why? The man is spewing hatred every which direction. Goodness gracious, man. The stuff that comes out of that man's mouth. And yeah, they shut him down. From what I understand, they shut him down. They closed his mic. I think it was a wise decision. Like, I understand people want free speech and all that. Yeah, he can go online and talk all that he wants, but now it's a professional environment. Like, here's the thing, you know, like, fights can break out at a press conference. It's happened before.
There's just some things you keep to yourself. Like, if it's true, like the Gina Carano thing that he's talking about. Like, who says that on the mic? You know, like, a part of me loves him for it. The other part of me is like, are you out of your freaking mind? There has to be some type of layer of, you know, just thought before you speak, you know, and is this the right time to say this? You know, it's almost like whatever he's going to say in the locker room with his best friends or whatever, he's just going to say publicly and have no care in the world about it.
That's what a lot of other athletes and other analysts from other sports were pissed off about, was that Sean Strickland's allowed to say these things with no repercussions from the company. Like, you couldn't be in the NFL, you know, Jalen Hurts couldn't come out and say the things that Sean Strickland said. But that's just our sport, man. Like, no one expects us to be anything other than what we are. And that's, you know, these Neanderthal warriors. No one expects anything else. So when we say stuff, we have a little bit longer of a leash. But with that being said, I just wish that Sean would use that platform every once in a while and say something decent.
Yeah, dude, this is the guy who showed up to a media event in a shirt that was like, women belong in the kitchen. I'm sorry. Should maybe someone ask a question about that? Or like, maybe just, at this point, what is there to say? Like, we can continue to do this forever, but it just is what it is.
It's a nightmare. But you guys don't help. Asking them dumb shit, you know, ask dumb shit, you're going to get dumb shit. What'd you think of Bad Bunny? What'd you think of the Super Bowl? Get the fuck out of here. You fucking kidding me? Yeah. So when you talk about what Strickland says, you guys like to push the buttons.
It's a tough one, right? Because as the media, you want stuff to perform well and go far on social media and things like that. And realistically, to do that with Sean, you're better off asking him about wacky stuff, because he's going to have a take and it will do better. I think if bad to defend Amy, to defend Amy, she didn't bring up Bad Bunny. He went on a tangent and brought up the NFL and Bad Bunny. So it's not like she actually did that. So when Dana's like, oh, what do you think about this? That's actually not fair. She didn't do that.
I'm always surprised, right? Surprised during a Sean Strickland fight week, because it seems like he could never go any crazier than I had seen him before. But every single week, he ups the ante whenever the cameras are in his face, and he just says more and more stuff. And this week was just like that, right? Sean Strickland was going off.
But I just wish for a guy like Sean, who's incredibly intelligent, despite him saying wildly irresponsible things.
Yeah.
You know he's intelligent, because a sign of intelligence for me with him is that he knows how to push those buttons right up until it's too offensive where he can't recover.
Yeah.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll pick something else, push it right to the limit, and stop. That's a sign of intelligence. He knows exactly where to stop before it gets just too out of hand, even for himself. So he's an intelligent guy. I wish he would use his platform for good.
But Sean says these things, right? And he gets you all talking. So he's doing his job. Like at the ceremonial weigh-ins, he said, "I'm more Mexican than all you guys. You all cheer for your local Mexican, right? I'm Mexican. I fight like a Mexican." And again, a lot of people complaining and whinging and crying on social media. It did the job. It generated hype. It got people interested. And I used to do the same thing. I used to talk a lot of crap, right? Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It means I get it. I get the game, right? You're trying to promote. Now, granted, Sean does go overboard on occasion. But as I say, you know, you're having fun in the moment. You're letting that wild side of you kind of come to the forefront.
UFC doesn't really limit what we say. They don't say, hey, don't say that, don't say this.
Paramount does.
No, Paramount hasn't. I mean, but $7.7 billion, UFC is probably like, when Strickland has the mic. They do. They definitely say, hey, after your fight, if you get on the mic, try not to cuss. They say that.
Yeah, I have no idea how they're going to handle it. He is a lot. Like it's not like borderline. It's completely overline. You know, I appreciate people just saying what they feel, and I you know, all about, you know, the First Amendment, right? You know, free speech. But he definitely says some just outrageous things, and you know, I don't know what you do with it. You just let him do it.
MMA fans know the drill. Some guy talks like this, he risks getting slimed out by Alex Pereira for talking shit about him. You know? He risks losing when he shit talks Adesanya the way he was going at him. When Covington shit talks Usman, you get that moment where Covington gets his jaw broken for talking crazy about Usman. Oh, you fucking fans can't even watch. They have to send smoke signals from your tribe back in Nigeria. He was going off at Usman from like a crazy place. And fans got the moment to rejoice at Covington's loss. Okay? And that's how the sport is. Despair or overwhelming happiness at a result of a fight. If Strickland would have lost, they would have loved that he said all that shit. Because he would have lost and they would have felt really happy about it. The problem is, Strickland stood 10 toes down, dude. Strickland jabbed and teeped.
I've been in the media room. You have Aaron. I'm not sure if you have Jed, but you have Aaron. He's called me gay and all sorts of stuff. Like, he's impossible to control. Like, when you're in a media room with Sean Strickland, you just hold on because he turns the whole thing back on you as a media member. I just remember being like, oh, okay, oh boy, like, here we go, let's go. Like, this is a Jeff Ross, like, roast here. Let's see who can survive.
I know a lot of people are pushing back saying, oh, there's things he said that's not good for Paramount Plus, it's not good for this network, not good for that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can see that. I can see he's hardly the person you want as a poster boy when some of the things that comes out of his mouth. But some of the things that comes out of his mouth, a lot of Americans may agree with. So you're right, he probably has got an audience out there. Whether you like it or you don't like it, I personally, it's not, I don't agree with most of the stuff that comes out of Sean Strickland's mouth. But it generates interest, generates conversation.
I think also the UFC with their Paramount deal, they might not be so Sean Strickland friendly right now. So there might be a new way of doing things that I'm not aware of in the UFC because of the new deal. Okay, the Paramount deal is $7.7 billion deal. We're talking in the billions now. The UFC sold the rights to their content for literally billions, 7.7 billion. Now, Paramount, I don't think is going to like Sean Strickland's mic skills. Sean Strickland, you guys have heard him on the mic. He throws hate every which way. He hates everybody. If you're not a white male American, you suck. You're horrible. Does he do it for entertainment? Does he partially mean it? Does he fully mean it? I think it's a bit of both, you know.
But, you know, I'm not going to do this bit where it's like, oh, you know, Sean doesn't mean what he says. And I don't know why people don't interpret that, because I'm not a fucking mind reader. Like, I don't know why the onus is on all of us to interpret what he's saying other than to listen to him. You know what I mean? Like, there's this constant thing where people are just allowed to say, not just him, but like anyone in the world is allowed to say outlandish things. And then the responsibility of like figuring it out falls on the audience when it's in like, and then people who are sympathetic to the message, again, not even in this particular case, will just be like, oh, well, you just don't get it or whatever. And it's like, why can't I just listen to what he said? And if he like, I'm not playing a game. I'm not going to play a game where like I'm constantly trying to like read. It's not, we're not reading poetry from Robert Frost and trying to get the depth of the meaning. He's spouting stuff at a media event. Like, take him at his word. And this kind of like pressure on the audience to kind of like, oh, to see through it. Okay, well, which parts is he being, you tell me, which parts specifically is he being serious about? Which parts specifically is he not?
The point in time where it becomes a factor is when you start hearing about, you start hearing from all kinds of different places that end up being an annoyance. And I think that's the point that I got to, was that when you've got like Variety reaching out for comments, you've got all these people reaching out to like to Paramount, to different sponsors. That's when like eventually they have to say like, this is going to affect our bottom line. And that's when things start to get toned down a little bit. Usually Dana White is able, and the UFC have been able to do a good job of just being like, well, if you don't like it, then don't sponsor us. But when you have like a big media rights deal that just came into fruition at the beginning of this past year with Paramount, you're still trying to like have a good relationship with your media partners. And I think that it gets to a point where sometimes someone's going to have to say something. And I mean, it is interesting to me that it's happening now, as opposed to when like a Disney owned media platform were the ones that were basically platforming Strickland in the past in a roundabout way. So I don't know.
I know I can see the feedback on like the mic, the cutting of the mic. I can see people are very upset about that, which in turn is why if I would not have done it, because you've just made him a martyr. It was not a decision that was like unilaterally passed down, it was like a decision made on the spot because he was, going crazy, and it's like, fuck, where are we going to go with this? So it's not like the company silenced him. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's like a narrative that shouldn't be around, but I get it. I get why they did. It's again, like I said, this isn't easy for anyone.
I think he knows he's going to get a rise out of people when he says all this shit. And yeah, maybe he believes in some of the stuff he's saying, but he knows what he's doing. He's purposely being controversial. It gets people interested. People want him out of the UFC. And
yeah,
they're not going to get rid of him because he says outlandish shit.